heard the sound Stugotz made when I said earlier this guy was coming on with us. It was of just extraordinary enthusiasm. Yes, it was a bit lecherous, a little uncomfortable.
I love this guy.
Yeah,
man.
I know, but just sort of wanting because you were happy that he was coming on with us again. One of the greatest six men in the history of the league. He's a lead game analyst for NBC Sports. The coverage begins in October 2025 across NBC and Peacock, and the NBA play-in tournament starts tonight on TNT. I am mad at him. I have not told him this. There is there's a war brewing between athletes and journalists in the media, and he went on with Lou Williams on the Underground Lounge, and he gave up the goods to a teammate and friend and colleague, and didn't give us the story of the time that he lost a car gambling in Chicago. He knows that that's the story that I want. He knows this. And he goes with Lou Williams, and he gives him the great story instead of us. And look, he's nodding, and he's like, yes, you're right to be furious at me. And hi, it's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well, Dan. Thanks for the introduction. I appreciate it.
I want to hear this story because it's such a good story, Jamal. Like the idea of getting to the league and losing a car gambling because things escalate and you don't know what you're doing. It's a funny way for a rookie to lose a car.
Funny way and a way that you never expect, right? But for me, I got in over my head. I was like betting air money, shooting dice. And I'm thinking it's like, okay, it's a friendly competition. These numbers are getting so high. He doesn't really want this money, does he? Oh, he wanted the money. So I said, you know what? Instead of me getting that money as a rookie and not making much at that time, would you take the car? He's like, yeah, I'll take the car. I'm like, oh, here, you can have it. Just let me take my basketball out of it. And that's when I learned not to gamble outside of actual casinos.
But how does that happen? Like it seems to me your entire career that you've seemed savvy.
Yeah. No, but you know what? You can't have a testimony without being tested. So I had to go through it. I wasn't always this savvy, Dan. I had to learn, and that was a school of hard knocks of learning for sure. But coming in the league, 19, 20 years old, you're around all this. It's new to you. You think you can kind of hang and hang around and do things you're doing as a kid. Well, these are grown men, and you're still a kid, and you had to start thinking like a more mature young man instead. And I learned that day and never did it again. So now it's a lesson, I tell young players coming to the league.
But he made sure he got the basketball, Dan, because he's a professional scorer.
That's right. Why. It's such a good touch to make sure. Can I just have the ball? In the East, it's, I think, the only interesting series, maybe I have this wrong, is Knicks Pistons, but it seems like all the scary stuff, the fun stuff, the drama stuff is going to be all out west. We're about to all be very tired with what happens in the NHL and NBA playoffs because the games out west, which is the one that you're most interested in?
Ooh, I think I like the Lakers-Minnesota series just from the standpoint we know what LeBron and Luka bring to the table, but they've never been down this road together with each other, so there'll be moments in the game where I'm sure they're both used to taking it over. It may be moments that kind of overlap. They'll have to figure that stuff out. They're playing well right now, and JJ Redick's done an unbelievable job. Austin Reeves has been balling. I think he gives balance to their team as well, but Minnesota is just so fearless, and he's such a competitor, and we know what they were doing last year at this time. So for me, I think, sorry about that.
That was
for me,
good work.
I think
that was good hands.
I got quick hands.
Good
the hands aren't just
good
they
hands.
just aren't for the handles.
I didn't even notice what happened.
That was amazing the way you did that. You are so much better than the vice president of this country.
Oh my gosh, I'm not going there, but I'm interested to see how that series looks because I think Minnesota are competitors, and I just want to see how it looks going down that road together. What about you guys? Who you got?
Who do you have, Dan?
Well, no,
I'm glad you asked that, Jamal.
I think you should have done better with the trophy.
Old heavy-tongued Chris Cody just said to me again in a private show that I'm getting, boy, he said to me, boy, Jamal Crawford really stiff-armed you on that one, Dan. You went in with the vice president dropping, and he's like, nope.
He crossed you over.
Yeah, you really did.
Well,
you have
crossover.
You have crossed over.
Oh, like Steve Smith, he's got a move. A signature move that is named after
him.
Tricky,
yes. Would you look at the Cavs and say what everyone is saying, that nobody's going to believe that will beat Boston?
Yeah, I think most people would say that. I think Boston now, you remember for years, it was like, break up Brown and Tatum. And I was saying years ago, just get them a vet. I think they were young enough. I think they were good enough, and I think they could figure it out. Now their team has figured out their style works. Before it was like, oh, we can get a lot of success. We can, push people. We can make to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now they know their style works, so they can rely on that. If you're the Cavs, you're the underdog, obviously. But if you're going to play Boston, I would try to play them as tight as possible because to me, that's when Boston at times lose their trust. And that can help your team more than anything. But the Cavs are going to have to prove it. They're going to have to prove it. They're young. They had a terrific season. But, that at the Boston's a tough task for anybody, especially when they're shooting the three and moving the ball the way they do.
Okay, but Jamal, that's covering a lot of ground when you say the style works. Like, you must be a giant admirer of the fact that what Boston will do is drown you in threes because of how that team is built, and there's nothing that you can do. That you just got to hope they miss.
That's it. But can they miss for potentially 7 games? That's the thing about it. The way they shoot it, and when they go from good to great, that's almost like adding another star player because the ball is moving so fast that guys want to shoot it, but they're still getting clean looks because that ball has energy. So yeah, I'm a believer in what they're doing. I don't like when they just sell out to threes, but they proved it. And I know you're in Miami, so I know they've had some battles. So I know could be a sense spot there.
I want your expertise here because I feel bad last year. I cost people money because I kept saying of the Clippers that team, if healthy, could win a championship, and then they flamed out early because they weren't quite healthy. But these Clippers, Jamal, I think have a chance to be the most surprising champions in the history of the league because it's exactly the kind of team that would beat OKC. And they can lose in the first round.
So what are you telling the people to do then? If you lost them some money, are you going to help them regain it?
I'm looking
at. Are you saying take the Clippers to win the West?
I'm asking.
Yeah, what are you saying right now?
I'm asking your opinion of the Clippers because I've been high on them and I've failed and cost people money, and I just think they're even better this year.
They are better. If you're watching how they're playing, they have a certain belief, a certain moxie, and you're watching Kawhi and you're seeing he's healthy. But I'm seeing like a more fluid Kawhi. The way he's moving is more fluid. I'm watching how he's handling the ball. The moments where you feel like if you're the Clippers, you have the best player on the court no matter who you're playing because he's been through it, he's battle tested, and the playoffs fit and suit his game. But I'm a big believer in the Thunder. I really am. Just the way they played. They brought like a college style of play and system and winning to the NBA, to the pros. You watch how, I know everybody talks about their interviews, but if you watch how they're playing, they know Shea's the guy, but they have other guys that they allow to be the guy. He doesn't take away from other people. And then I think Coach Dagnall is a star on the sideline. So this is going to be a fun playoffs. And I don't think it's going to go the whole playoffs series in every series. I don't think it'll go like most thinks it will. There'll be some surprises.
Jeremy gave me private show because he's getting tased the entire time. I got all sorts of facts spit at me as to how wrong I was because I excluded Bucks Pacers from my analysis, and I don't think he's wrong because the Pacers are really good.
Yeah, Dan, you mentioned on the show yesterday how good the Pacers have been, and I think it's gone under the radar because they made a run last year, and when they started slow, everybody sort of wrote them off. But in 2024, so like before the turn of the new year, they were 16-18. They were 10th in offense, 23rd in defense. But since then, they're 34. Don't tase me. 34-13. Fourth best record in the league behind OKC, Cleveland, and Boston. Top 10 in both offensive and defensive rating. Jamal, do you think there's a chance that Indiana can be the one that kind of messes this whole thing up for everyone in the East?
There's a chance, but that they love to play with the pace. They love to play up and down, and the playoffs is just not sustainable to do it, or at least teams and historically have not kept that same pace. So when the game slows down, where do they go? I'm not saying they can't score and they can't generate baskets, but it's just a lot tougher to do. I'm not sure there'll be the surprise in the East. I think that could be a good matchup, depending on health and how everybody's feeling in Milwaukee and where they're at. But that could be a good matchup, but I don't have them going much further than after the first round if they can pull that off.
So give us something controversial that you think about who's going to beat whom. Like you're not exactly a hot take artist, but do you have an opinion that not a lot of people have about what we're about to see?
Dan, you know what? I don't. You came in with the hot take with me losing the Mercedes, the first question. I mean, you can't get much more controversial than that. But I would say basketball-wise, all right, you want one? I'll give you one. I'll say Minnesota beats the Lakers.
Woo!
Wow.
Thank you. That was hard for you. It seemed like it was hard.
He forced his hand.
It was tough.
Okay, and this is...
Yeah, you did. You twisted my arm. You did twist my arm on that.
And this is just about your simple belief that this is Anthony Edwards' league to take over from Luka and LeBron?
I just think his competitive, it will be his league one day, or at least one of the faces of the league. I just think his competitiveness, along with them right now, I think he wants to be a spoiler. Everybody's talking about the Lakers. Everybody's talking about, they can make this run. I'm just going to throw a shot in the dark and see what sticks, but I'll say Minnesota. What is yours, Dan? I need you to pick one. Who do you have that nobody has?
Okay, thank you. You threw it back
Dan, you have the heat over the Cavs, right?
And you're playing with the table right now.
Yeah, well, you put me on the spot.
There.
No,
I want to see where you're going with this.
I am, so I'm going to...
I'm going to take Jamal's one step further and say the Timberwolves are going to make it to the NBA Finals. How about that?
Whoa.
Okay, see,
Whoa.
yes, it means nothing.
Oh, God.
But it's brave, Yes. And I like the Clippers to beat the Nuggets, but that's not controversial. It's just a 5 over a 4. That stinks.
Dan, maybe you can't evaluate the Cleveland Cavs, but what are your thoughts on Chris Cody's Cavs?
Yeah, thank you. Thick, freckled, hairy. I have to do better than that, though.
It's a good flex.
Okay,
Try to buy you time.
Can I knock out a Band-Aid on his head?
Can I knock out the Rockets in the first round, even not knowing? Not
I
knowing
think most
who they're
people
gonna
expect
play?
that, though. They do.
No matter who they get in the play-in.
Yeah.
No matter who, that's right. No matter who,
whether
they
it's
get,
Golden State or Memphis, no matter who it is, they're going to go ahead and beat the 2-seed Rockets.
Can I do that or no?
No,
I can't really do that.
No.
You can't do that, Dan.
No, okay.
It's like picking a run from the play-in teams in March Madness as well. If you had picked Carolina as an 11,
Put Golden State in the finals. Do something like that. Put Memphis in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, give us something.
Okay, I know.
Give us something, Dan.
I really feel so pressurized.
Put
right
the Knicks
now.
there. I dare you.
Well, all right. I'll take the Knicks out in the first round. I'll
Oh!
take the Knicks out in the first round. I'll have Detroit beat them.
Wow. Thought you were going the other way with that.
No, what? Making them advance is the 3?
To the finals, yeah.
Oh, no. I'm going the other way on that one. And I'm rooting for that, right? Like that's I don't know. Do you hate anybody?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You've never played against there's not a city or team that you have a dislike for.
Not one. No. I was good there, but Dan, you're not spinning this on me back to me again. Like you picked the Knicks to lose, stick with it, and we'll all
but
just
you cornered me. It was unpleasant.
Well, you cornered him.
I know, but
you cornered me.
Yeah, but he comes in here to be cornered. That's the whole transaction.
No, I came here to have a conversation, and we're having a great conversation right now.
Yeah.
That's sweet. It really is.
Aw,
Look,
that's great energy.
I love Jamal.
Just a warm moment.
Jamal, if invited to go to space, would you take the invitation?
No, I don't even like flying across the country. I'm not going to space. I'm sorry. Are you going to space?
I would not. Stugotz?
I would go to space, I think. Yeah.
We were talking before about whether you'd least prefer to go to space or to go in the submersible underwater.
So look, I hate flying. I can't swim. I'm gone either way. Like this is how long is that trip to space? Like how long?
It's quick.
11 minutes.
It's quick.
It's a cup of coffee.
It's 11 minutes. Yeah, I don't. Here, do you want to see Gail King? She seemed kind of scared, and I would be too.
Yeah, let's see Gail.
I would be terrified if I was about to go up and into space.
Let's see Gail. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's scared here because I think she's scared, either scared or miserable.
You sure?
No? What, you think she's just unhappy?
I don't know. I can't make that look right there. I think she's like, all right, well, let's do it. Let's just. I don't know where she's at with it.
No, that
This
look
might
to
as
me.
well
To
happen.
me, it's like, what am I doing?
This
Well,
was
she
fun.
got the name suit on the suit. I don't know. She was ready for this.
This felt like a
She
good
doesn't
idea
look ready,
leading up to it.
Jamal, I think that she doesn't look ready for this. Look at what's happening here with this.
Yeah, you know what? the more I look at it, I think she's looking at, what if I don't make it back?
Exactly.
That's the, I don't
Yes,
make it back
yes,
face.
that is exactly what's happening there. You have to choose between the two, though. I understand that you don't want to do either. I was saying that the submersible is much more mortifying to me. But it's just because of, like, it was that tiny little thing that exploded that we thought for a minute that somebody was tinging in the depths of the sea trying to get out of a tiny contraption, losing air, but it just instantaneously exploded.
How quick do I get back from space? Is that 11 minutes too?
It's well, I think you float
The entire
down.
thing is 11 minutes.
Round trip, yes.
Yeah, it's 11.
I'll do that. I'll just close my eyes the whole time and hope everything works out. Yeah, I'm going to space.
Jamal, good seeing you. Thank you for being on with us. Appreciate the time, sir.
You as well. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.